we did fly some missions at 11, 12,000 sometimes. And we varied our altitude on missions because you didn't want to be at the same altitude all the time, because then the FLAK people can zero in on what altitude. And we were always doing evasive action, so you had to get in a real tight formation, and we were always flying, just up and down and all around. Because when you're flying that low, they can be pretty accurate with their FLAK, and we didn't want to give them any chance to zero in on. But when you're making your bomb run, you have to fly straight and level for a little while. Then that's when it gets bad, because then they can zero in. They know you're here, and then they find that you're here, and then they know you're going to be here so as soon as you drop your bombs, you want to get out of there. And and you're always wishing, if you're on this side, that the guy that's leading the mission turns into you, because then you're on the inside of it. But if he turns away and you're on the outside of it, that pinpoint thing is going to be right on you as you leave the target. And that happened to a friend of mine. We flew in what we called boxes, 6 plane boxes. You had a leader and a guy on each of his wing, and then a second element with a guy on his wings. And that's a very maneuverable, so we could be very maneuverable. But we were leading the second element, and there was a guy on our wing over here, and the leader was over here, and darn if he didn't turn left. Well, that means this guy out here was what we called tail end Charlie. And as we left the target, the FLAK was coming, and this guy got a direct hit right outside of the cockpit. It just wiped that side of the cockpit off, and I could see this guy sitting there, and he was covered with blood, and it looked like he was going to continue to fly. But I was watching this guy above me because he was doing evasive. So, and next time I looked back, the plane was gone, and but I knew he'd been killed. And oh man, and he was such a nice guy. He was a kind of a guy that, even though the rest of us were covered with dust, he never seemed to pick up the dust like we did. For some reason or other, he didn't even seem to have it on his shoes. And not that he made a fetish of it or anything. He was just a great guy. And boy, I really felt that. And anyway, one of our gunners said he saw 2 parachutes, but one of them was on fire. So maybe one guy got down, but we never heard anything about what happened. But to tell you how callous you get, when we got down and got debriefed, my mess kit had got, on a mess kit you got a handle, and you got a spoon and a knife and a fork that slide over. The handle slides over the handle on the mess kit, and you can hang it up to dry after you come out of the mess hall. I was down to just a big spoon. I didn't have a knife or a fork anymore. And I knew this guy that went down had a knife and a fork. First thing I did after I was debriefed was go to his tent and get his knife and fork, because then I had a knife and fork. Can't believe I did that, but yeah, it's tough.